As a kid, I really enjoyed Transformers and GI Joes. Those are my favorite toys when I was a wee little lad, right? A young guy. One of the gimmicks that they rolled out was the crossover or turncoat Transformers. I remember those that you could see their Autobot or Decepticon logo, but if you put your thumb on it, it would the heat transfer would show you their real allegiance and the such like that. And they were cool, but always in the back of my mind, I was like, why would you want somebody who was a former enemy to be in close proximity to your leadership now? Like that makes no sense. Like it's doesn't that sullen the name of your team to have somebody who used to be literally against you, dare I say killing you, and now they're working with you? Does that not sullen it in some way, shape, or form at all? And that always just bothered me. It always bothered me. So I never got into those ones. And GI Joe had some as well. They weren't as popular, but the Transformers were pretty popular. I bring all that up because we're going to look at a story here that to me makes no sense at all. It literally makes no sense. Let me bring it in and you let me know down in the comments below.
The Fort Bend County judge is now being investigated for alleged election fraud. Judge KP George is accused of knowing about fake posts made by his former campaign consultant, Thurul Patel.
A few moments.
Okay, he's being investigated for election fraud. Okay, keep going.
Later.
A Houston area county judge is facing legal action today for allegedly posting fake racist messages to make it appear he was a target of hate during his 2022 re-election. Fort Bend County Judge KP George was indicted and booked into jail on a misdemeanor charge last night.
All right, so now he's gotten arrested for these charges, right? Okay, let's keep it going.
Moments later.
Fort Bend County Judge KP George is facing new charges. We got his mugshot in the past 5 minutes, and these charges appear to be even more serious than the crimes he's already accused of committing.
All right, now that was money laundering. You saw some election shenanigans, fake posts, fake racial outrage, and now money laundering. All right.
County Judge KP George making a shocking announcement today.
He announced in Sugar Land this morning that he is leaving the Democratic Party and becoming a Republican.
I came to this country as an adult, and I am not born and raised neither Republican nor Democrat. And I choose a side, and it turned out to be the wrong place, and I'm fixing it. And that's what I'm doing today. And I want you to know that.
So, Mario, why the sudden announcement today?
Andy, George says it's for a couple of key reasons. One being the Democratic Party has changed and his core beliefs align more with Republicans. But at his political core, it cannot be forgotten that KP George is in the fight of his political life.
How are the people of Fort Bend County supposed to view this as a candidate or a judge who is in trouble with his own party as well as the legal system, viewing an opportunity to switch parties to hold on for his political life?
Yeah, that's your way of looking at it, Mario. And you know what? It is. I'm going to go and talk to the people of Fort Bend County, and I will make my case.
A move that will alter the balance of political power on Fort Bend County Commissioner's Court. Now facing multiple criminal indictments, including political money laundering and alleged participation in fake race-baiting attacks on social media, Judge George contends he is being victimized in a Democrat power grab. Today, he announced not only a political divorce, but also a new political destination, the Republican Party.
As I make the all-important announcement that I am officially joining the Republican Party, for the past few years has become very clear to me and also many others that Democratic Party has become one of corrupt and radical political ideology and positions that simply do not reflect the values of Fort Bend County families and small businesses, also hardworking residents of Fort Bend County. I have always believed in foundational American principles of faith, family, and freedom. And I realized that the Republican Party that champions these values. Radicals like our Fort Bend County District Attorney, who has been brought and paid by the notorious George Soros, who funded the campaign. When Fort Bend County District Attorney and his fellow liberal elites realized I wasn't going to fall in line with their increasingly radical agenda, this is the solution they found: kick me out of there. I am not backing down, and I will not, because I haven't done anything wrong.
Judge George says with his party switch, Republicans now control Fort Bend County Commissioner's Court and will redraw political boundaries to make them fair. In addition, George announced he's definitely standing for re-election as a member of the GOP. Now, that said, winning support from many Fort Bend County conservatives may be impossible, with one saying, quote, "This isn't about principles, it's about panic and self-preservation."
I don't see it as anything else. Like, how do you see it otherwise? I would love to know. This seems like I have no idea why the GOP is even accepting this. This, in my opinion, this does not make you look like a team. Because keep in mind, all of his issues with the race baiting and the money laundering and any other things that he had circulating out there are now a part. He's dragging that in with you all as well. Let's just look at his last little article, kind of breaking down why this is a problem. I guess we all know why it's a problem, but talk a little bit more about the problematic nature of this, and then let's break out of here. Thank you so much. This is craziness, y'all.
Judge KP George's recent political party switch is causing a stir among voters. Fort Bend County's top official made that announcement today that he is no longer a Democrat and is joining the Republican Party. KPRC2's Coralie Peels spoke with voters.
There were mixed emotions about Judge KP George's political party switch, but majority of the people we spoke with say they still have a hard time supporting him, regardless of which political party he's affiliated with, because of his criminal investigations.
Right.
The news about Fort Bend County Judge KP George switching from Democrat to Republican has voters paying attention.
Honestly, it makes a lot of sense based off of his political leanings and like the values that he focuses on.
I don't know if maybe it's a rebrand or what, but he's, I guess, trying something new. So it's not completely surprising. Politicians have done it before.
It seems like a little bit of an act of desperation. I think the Democratic Party kind of turned on him, and so he's going to try to do the Republican side. I don't think it's going to work.
KP George says he's switching parties because his beliefs align more with Republican values. He adds the Democratic Party and Democrat District Attorney have targeted him.
I came to this country as an adult, and I am not born and raised neither Republican nor Democrat. And I choose a side, and it turned out to be the wrong place, and I'm fixing it. And that's what I'm doing today. And I want you to know that.
In April, KPRC2 was there as George turned himself into the Fort Bend County Jail on felony money laundering charges. George is also facing a misdemeanor charge involving his former chief of staff, Tarab Patel, and the social media hoax case. Patel pleaded guilty in that misrepresentation of identity case and also admitted in court records that he committed a criminal offense with George. Democrat Commissioner Dexter McCoy feels KP George's time is up.
It's unfortunate because bottom line, no politician is above the law. And I think what we saw today is the county judge's efforts, his latest efforts at trying to escape prosecution for the serious crimes he's accused of. And he's seeking solace in the party that happens to be in control of this state right now.
Do you still think he's fit to be the judge here in Fort Bend County?
Not particularly, just based off of the information that's come out recently. And, I know people who never really liked him to begin with.
I don't trust him at all. And I think the excuse is he tries to place the blame somewhere else, where I think he just made some really poor choices.
I think to an extent, I wouldn't say fully, given what happened, but, you got to give people a second chance sometimes.
Republicans now have a 3-2 advantage in Commissioner's Court. We did get a statement from the Fort Bend County Republicans. They said time will tell if KP George's party switch is a true change of heart. We have their full statement on our website at click2houston.com. Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
I think that's interesting that they would be willing to open up their arms. I'm not saying that you don't accept, and I guess they also saw, hey, now it was 3-2, now it's 2-3 in the Republicans' favor. Maybe that's what they're thinking about. And they're just looking at, hey, we have a favorable representation on the bench, even though this gentleman has a lot of baggage. That is, I wouldn't accept it. I don't know. I have no idea why they are doing this. I have no idea. And why is it allowed that one can just switch parties? Now, we've seen people switch parties in a favorable way. They had no baggage and they switched to another party and whatnot like that. So I totally can see this is a double-edged sword. But even in that, like, why is someone allowed to switch party without any kind of repercussions? Shouldn't they become like independent or like a person with no flag or something for a year or something before they switch over? Then that way you have a 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and a independent. And then if the independent decides after the next election or whatever the time period is, then they decide they want to become a Republican, then you got it. But it just seems like it would give them a little bit of time to breathe and make sure it's not just a knee jerk. Because if the Democrats hadn't, quote unquote, turned their back on him, he would still be a Democrat. That just seems, I don't know how people do it. I don't know, but man, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Do you agree with KP George? Please forgive me. Do you agree with him? Do you agree that he should be allowed to just, hey, I just decided I'm no longer a Democrat. I want to be a Republican. Are you down with that? Or do you think there should be some kind of cooling off period? Think about it, time, however long it determines. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. I really do appreciate y'all for checking this out. Thank you so much for giving me your insight and your opinions. Thank you also for subscribing, helping us hit our goal of 50,000 subscribers. We're going to be celebrating. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you all real soon. So until next time, everybody, grace and peace.